Okay, I'm doing it. I'm facing my fears. I am facing my fears in honor of the lunar eclipse today. I am releasing my fears. My fears of failure, my fears of not being good enough, my fears of just my fears of just fears. Okay. Um I first off hope everyone's doing well. Are okay, and if you're not doing okay, I hope you do find time to take some time to give yourself some self-care because you deserve it regardless of what you're going through. I promise you can and you deserve to fit in some time for yourself. I say that as I get emotional and I'm already like, girl, don't even on this camera today. Um, Today is the day, and probably for the next couple of days or a week or however long the shadow period of the eclipse happens, we will be, coming to some realization that we need to, that a part of something about something within our lives or a habit or a person or a job or something is needs to be released. This is a full moon in Libra, and it's an eclipse, so full moons are all about, like, letting go, the completion. But with the full moon, it's like closing a chapter. It's like, bye, it's gone, like that. In you're ending the chapter, where you're ending this chapter whether you like it or not. It no longer serves you. You need, it may be hard, but it's going to be the best thing for you later on in life. um Whether you can see that or not. But um, you will know that specifically if you were looking at it astrologically by looking at whatever, uh, pulling up your chart and seeing where Libra rules, what house Libra rules in your birth chart, in your astrology chart, in your natal chart. I always call it different things, but in your natal chart or your astrology chart, look at what house the sign of Libra rules. And if you have Libra placements, well, that'll be in the houses, so never mind. But yeah, if you have Libra placements, this will probably be like extra prominent for you. You will be really feeling this eclipse, and yeah. But for me, because I want to try my best to kind of like come on camera. I mean, provide like a more personal experience, and not to say that everybody who, because I'm a Pisces rising, so I am going to share my experience from just being a Pisces rising. And most Pisces risings probably have this, are experiencing this eclipse in the eighth house of hidden feelings. That includes fears. Hidden feelings, hidden fears, deep feelings of maybe like sexuality, or desire perhaps. But also it does have to do with, it's like the second house that has to do with finances. Your second house has to do with the money that you make. Your eighth house has to do with money shared, money that was borrowed, maybe debt, money that's owed, shared resources. And then also the eighth house has to do with like death and rebirth. And that could be, energetic death, like, like you're like, I don't know, like you're like, I don't know. Like, for instance, like it's not an actual death. Like, for example, if you have a fear or something, like you're you're putting a death to that fear. You're ending that fear, and then you be reborn into like your confidence or something like that, kind of ish. That's probably not the best example, but that's the best thing I can come up with right now. But yeah, so yeah, eighth house rules finances, shared resources, hidden emotions that are often felt very deeply. It could also tie into grief or letting go of something, endings and beginnings, transformations, and like a deep need for intimacy. There we go. That's what I also meant. Like deep desires for intimacy and connection and stuff, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, if you are experiencing any feelings around that, specifically Pisces risings, that is something that, or maybe you have been for the past 6 months, because with the fact that this is a full moon, that means that whatever we have been kind of dealing with in this area in our house, whatever we've been dealing with, how do I explain this? Okay. So I don't know who knows this, but the new moon, there's a new moon and a full moon. The new moon in Libra happened last October. I believe it was October 12th. And then on that day, that was like a new beginning we were experiencing within that house, within the eighth house. Now, if you are conscious of new moons and full moons and you work with them, then you will know. But a lot of people, like, I didn't really understand the concept of new moons as well as I do now, even though it hasn't been that long. But I kind of realized that the purpose of a new moon, in like, for example, if I would have known that last year in October when there was a new moon in Libra. And also, I don't know, was that an eclipse as well? Because usually you're not really supposed to set intentions on the eclipse. But if there's a new moon, typically, unless it's an eclipse, you're supposed to set an intention on there for that, for within that sign or that house in that area of your life. And then 6 months later, when there's a full moon that happens in that same sign, so once again, say for example, this wasn't an eclipse and I actually decided to set an intention during the new moon in Libra last year in October, then it would have played out somehow. If I set those intentions well, then I would have most likely manifested that in some way, and that manifestation would have completed today. Okay, so, and then that's the magic of working with the universe. It's crazy. But yeah, so now that I know, I've been really more conscious of doing this. Like the last new moon we had, which was in Pisces, I manifested that. I was very intentional with it, and I already have been seeing stuff play out, and it's like it's crazy. Like, it's so crazy. But anyways, the point is, it doesn't matter though, because I'm pretty sure the last new moon we had was an eclipse, and you're not supposed to manifest or do anything on those. But the point is, you're still going to be releasing some things, okay? So probably, when I think about it, last October, I was going through grief. My grandma passed last year, and she was one of the closest people to me. She was like my second parent. I didn't grow up with my biological father in my life. So it was literally like my mom and her. And it was hard. It was very, very hard. And she's a Libra as well. So, I felt like, yeah, that kind of ties into it. And then something happened today that triggered me to think about her, and I got emotional and all the things like that. It's fine, it happens, but it made me realize that obviously this time last year I would have never been able to like start like talking about her. Like I wouldn't be able to talk about her without crying. And now, I feel like I can talk about her and I can smile and I can feel so much happiness from all the memories and everything. Obviously, I still get emotional, but it's just kind of like that growth and that, like, wow, like I'm still going to be grieving, my whole life, but I do feel like I have improved a lot in my area of grief. And I do feel like, after years, and I mean, I was going to say years and years, after a long time with feeling like that I wasn't like, this can't be true, I am in acceptance of it. And yeah, I'm in acceptance of it because I know that, you know, that's the cycle of life. And I'm so grateful to continue her legacy and, you know, continue the things that we've talked about and she wanted for me even after she, was no longer here. So that was a theme that played out. Another weird thing was that I got a random call by like my phone bill of my phone company saying that like my phone was about to get cut off because I didn't pay a bill, or the payment for the bill didn't go through, which is weird because like that was not accurate at all because my bills were up to date. So, but anyways, but I called my company, my phone company, and I was like going back and forth, and long story short, long story short, it was a very frustrating process because I kept getting like switched over to different people, and then there was like confusion, and one of the ladies was catching it, like she seemed like she was getting an attitude, and I was just kind of like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just calling. Anyways, it also tied into my grandma because my grandma I used to be on my grandma's, like we were on each other's phone line. So it's just a bunch of stuff that tied into my grandma today, which is just really interesting. Once again, I mean, with the fact that it's a Libra eclipse and it's on a Libra, and she's a Libra, and it's in my 8th house of death. And she passed last year, and this is around the same time where I was kind of thinking about her. I always think about her. It's so interesting how every Libra, when there's a Libra moon or when the moon is in Libra, I always think about her. Somehow I'm always thinking about her, but like specifically there's like things that trigger emotions, and that's when I'm more emotional. That, and then when also the moon is in Gemini, because she was a Gemini rising. So yeah, honestly, is it Gemini or Virgo? Honestly, I don't know. I feel like she was a Gemini rising, a Libra moon, and a Libra sun and a Virgo moon, and I feel like I always experience like feelings when it's around those times. But anyways, so yeah, that was another theme. We talked about like owed money, debt, finance, shared money, resources and stuff like that. So that was kind of weird that I experienced that. And there's more to that story, but I'll have to like talk about it. I vlogged this whole experience. So I vlogged my day today, so I'm gonna be posting that tomorrow. But yeah, so overall though, I guess there's so many things I can like talk about that I experienced today, but those two were the two most prominent ones. And then the last thing that I can think of that was like pretty prominent is like me letting go of the feeling of not being able, letting go of the fear that I am, like, that how do I, um, letting go of the need to be dependent on others financially. It's a big one because I've had a rough a couple of years when it came to my work and career life, because I went through a whole identity crisis, and I am very known to, like, when I'm no longer feeling like aligned with something, I will leave it, even, and that's including a job. And to some people that may not be like responsible, because because like you're supposed to make sure you're like, obviously you still have bills and stuff. But anyways, we're not getting to that story. I've had a history of finance, having to learn in the financial department, and I've learned my lessons and stuff. But yeah, I've definitely had to get help in a lot in the past couple of years, and last year specifically too. And yeah, it was a what do you call it? A check to my ego. Like it didn't feel good. It made me feel powerless, I guess. It made me feel like I couldn't take care. Like it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good at all. I was grateful. I'm grateful to be able to get the help, from family, even for the first time ever. Like I had to, like, get help from my boyfriend, and that was weird, even though most people probably, couples do that, but we're very independent, and I've always been very independent. So me going through that, like, transition in my career and job, and having to actually get help from family, or mainly my mom, my grandma, my boyfriend, was very self-defeating, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. I was grateful, but anyways, it was like really a check to my ego and just stuff like that. So I don't know, just going through that, like, feelings of just the deep feelings. That's what it is, of like embarrassment and not feeling good enough, or just feeling like so many icky feelings. um and yeah, so now though, because whenever there's a full moon happening, or an eclipse or a release happening in one sign, which is Libra, that means that a door is closing in that area in your life, and a new door is opening in the opposite, which is Aries. So wherever you have Aries, that means that there's going to be a new beginning going on, happening in that, most likely. So that's what I'm. So Aries is in my second house of making money, of how I earn my money. So I'm kind of like really feeling like it aligns, because I've been recently feeling more like independent and confident in my abilities to make money in a new area of my life, and or to like take care of myself. Like I don't feel like I need others to help me anymore. I feel like a door is closing when it comes to that, like my dependence on others, and I feel like starting, I'm on the rise, at least. I won't say I'm 100%, like, because I am still unemployed right now. And that's a choice. That's a whole nother story, but that's a risk, let's just say that I'm taking, because I'm going through this whole thing where I'm trying to trust my intuition. I wouldn't advise it to anyone. I have a whole backstory as to why I'm able to do this right now, even though it's still a risk. I wouldn't advise it, but it's what I feel I should do in this moment. And I have set a time frame for myself, which I am coming up on that time frame. And if not, I'm not where I want it to be, then I'll, obviously plan to start making income from elsewhere, and having other side projects, and getting a part-time job, or whatever whatever I have to do. But yeah, I feel like I am on the rise of feeling confident in my ability to take care of myself and not need anyone to do that for me anymore. And that feels fucking good. I'm not 100% there yet. Like I said, I think I will feel a lot better after we get through this whole Mercury in retrograde, after a whole bunch of other things, more eclipse supposed to happen. I feel like I will be really in this feeling of like independence and flow and sure, confidence within my finances come, like, I feel like April, May, and I have some sources, or I don't know, I just feel, yeah. So I just feel like I'm tapping into my independence era. That's the point, and especially when it comes to finances. And hopefully, this is what this is. That will be great. That will be so great because, whew, these past couple of years have been very, very like I've been feeling very exposed and vulnerable and not in so many emotions that was just really made me feel so bad about myself. Even though I know I shouldn't because people go through ups and downs, but man, yeah. So yeah, that is kind of my little story. That, and then also, I guess I'm gonna say one more thing. Also, me having confidence. I'm gonna be also letting go of my fears of, like I said, having self doubt and not believing in my abilities. I believe that I am gifted and I have some gifts that I really have discovered over the past couple of years and have really started to grow confidence in through really like documenting it, journaling, keeping receipts per se, so I can, really start to see and believe and really realize. And I really want to start,